I saw a story recently about a baby monkey named Punch. He was abandoned by his mother and he was clinging on to a stuffed orangutan. And when I saw this, something in me just paused. I felt sadness, not because it was dramatic, although it was, but because it was so familiar. Human beings and almost all living beings are wired for belonging. Even monkeys know that. In their groups, closeness means safety. Grooming each other helps lower their stress levels. And being part of the tribe helps to regulate their nervous system. And when that bond is broken, the body doesn't understand the difference between emotional loss and physical danger. A simple touch can be confusing. Is that safe? Or am I going to get hurt? And I couldn't help but think about how so many of us in midlife are experiencing something similar. Not abandonment in the literal sense, although it can be that, but more so the feeling of not knowing where we belong anymore. As we age, friend groups shift. For example, I relocated from living abroad to the US a couple of years ago, and that meant I had to leave a lot of friends behind that I had grown very close to over the years. And it meant that I landed in an area that was unfamiliar. And I find it still to this day challenging to establish new friendships that I can really connect with. The second thing that can happen in midlife is that we may go through a divorce or a breakup from a long-term partner. And this could mean that we are having to redefine who we are. Maybe we lost ourselves in that relationship and we need to reintegrate and redefine who are we. Currently, over 1/3 of divorces in the US are people over 50. And so that could signal that many people are afraid of what it's going to mean to grow old as a solo person, or what it's going to mean to enter the dating scene again if they haven't done it for many, many years. There's fear of judgment. You know, you're now an older woman, not the young, hot thing out there. And two things can be true. While you may have all these fears around now being solo in midlife, you may also feel a sense of liberation. Like now you can do things on your own time. You don't have to answer to someone else. You can manage your life on your own terms. But that sometimes can mean loneliness. The third thing that may happen as we age and kind of shift our sense of belonging is that our kids grow up. Now, I personally do not have kids, but I work with clients that do have kids. They have adult kids, and many of them feel abandoned by them. They thought their kids would be around as they age, as companionship or to help them with medical appointments or what have you, but that hasn't been the case, and so they feel very abandoned. And so that is a very real reality for many people. The fourth thing that can happen that can make you feel off balance and wondering where you belong is that your career can end. Maybe you spent a lifetime in a certain profession and all of a sudden, inevitably, you are laid off, or you may feel pressured to leave. Now, I recently was laid off from a position just a few months ago, and I was able to find another job. But I think a lot of people are faced with what's next. And they may feel that there might be some ageism out there. Maybe it's not the same when you are trying to get hired as it was before, because maybe there are some subconscious, unvocalized judgments and, discrimination that might be going on. And again, those thoughts and feelings can make you feel abandoned as well. The fifth thing that can happen as we age is that you can decide to move back home, but it doesn't feel like home. So, for example, in my situation, I relocated from living abroad to living closer to my core family. And I thought that I was going to be able to get closer to them, reconnect with them, and that we would live happily ever after. And that didn't quite happen in that way. I fortunately have been able to reconnect with many of my family members and have very nurturing relationships that we are redeveloping, but that wasn't the case with all of my family members. And so that was a tough pill to swallow. However, it was a really great lesson for me to learn where to set boundaries with people that are unhealthy in your life. It's an unhealthy dynamic. Maybe it's a toxic energy that you are getting from them. And sometimes it can come from family. Sometimes we think it's from other people, but very much so, we can have very toxic, unhealthy dynamics going on in the family. And for me, it was a lesson in learning how to set boundaries for myself. This also has taught me that sometimes family doesn't come from your own family. You can connect and be accepted by people that have no blood relation to you. This is very much like what happened to Punch. His mother abandoned him, and he has since been accepted by other in the troop, or the tribe, I guess is what they call it, and including his caretakers. And none of those living beings were a part of his family. They have become a part of his family. The sixth thing that can happen when you're getting older and you're just not fitting in so much is that this is happening because you are spiritually evolving and you just don't know where you fit in anymore. It's really hard to find people that really get you. So you find yourself spending a lot of time alone, either learning more about what you're going through, reading spiritual books, meditating, experimenting with all of these things, healing. You're in your own self-evolution, and sometimes people just don't relate to any of that. So you can find yourself in spurts of loneliness because of that as well. So it's important to remember that sometimes it's not about people leaving you. It's about you outgrowing the hierarchy or the tribe that you once belonged to. When you lose your tribe, even if it's in midlife, your nervous system goes scanning, it goes searching for that one thing that is going to make you feel safe again. It wonders, where do I fit in now? That searching can feel like sadness or longing or even shame. But maybe this season isn't about exile. Maybe this season is all about a new beginning. If you're in that in-between space and you don't know where you quite fit in, remind yourself that you're not broken. A new life of your design is on the horizon. Have you felt like this? If you have, I hope you don't feel that you're alone. Many of us are going through the same thing. Let's support each other. Comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.